What's up YouTube, this is the Shy Pianist or Donald or Zephyr Wargames here, bringing you my Amazoness deck profile. Now, I've been with Amazoness for a long time actually. It was one of the decks that I've had for quite some time. And after 7 years, we finally get Amazoness support. So here's my deck profile, rank 12 of my series Amazoness. So starting straight off, we have the boss monster, Amazoness Queen. She protects all your Amazoness from battle, and that's pretty much it. But as a boss monster, protecting your Amazoness from battle is really nice. Next, for the new support, I guess, we have triple Amazoness Princess. She counts herself as Amazoness Queen while on the field or graveyard. When she is normal summoned, you can add one Amazoness spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and if she declares an attack, you can send one card from your hand or graveyard, one card from your hand or side of field to the graveyard, and special summon one Amazoness monster from your deck in defense position. She's a very nice support tech, helps you swarm the field, and essentially gets you out Queen, which then protects all your Amazoness from battle. Next we have from new support, I run double Baby Tiger. He special summons himself from hand or graveyard if you normal summon or special summon an Amazoness monster. This helps you to go into your Link 2 plays, which I can demonstrate at the end. He gains 100 attack for each Amazoness in your graveyard, and he treats himself as an Amazoness Tiger while on the field or graveyard, which can be used later on when you fusion summon for Pet Liger, but we don't have that yet at the moment in time. So that's it for the new monsters. Next, probably the one card that made me play this deck, Amazoness Swordswoman. Her effect is, if she battles, your opponent takes all the battle damage involving this card. End of. Just a 15 beat stick if you crash into a high attack monster, but with Queen protecting it from battle, you essentially deal 3 damage to your opponent by attacking into them. Next we have, I run 2 Amazoness Tiger. He redirects attacks to himself and basically protecting your Amazoness monsters. You can only control one of him, as its effect is it gains 400 attack for each Amazoness you control, and you can only control one Amazoness Tiger. So he's great when you special summon him with Princess so that she is protected, or you can also basically get a bigger beat stick board once you filled your field. Next we have Amazoness. I run 2 Amazoness Sage. This is purely, her effect is that if she declares an attack, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it at the end of the damage step. For those who don't know, Amazoness is a deck that each individual Amazoness can have their own effects. There can be standalone cards. There's only a few of them which help the archetype in general. And the fact that Amazoness, one of the Amazoness's greatest weakness is their vulnerability to spells and traps. So I run double Sage for the sake of getting rid of back row. Next I run double Amazoness Paladin. She's your beat stick of the level 4s other than Tiger. She gains 100 attack for each Amazoness you control. Base stat of 1700 is nice to have. So that's it for the Amazoness. These are other cards that I do tech in with the Amazoness. And first off, I run 2 Rose Warrior of Revenge. She's a level 4 warrior tuner, which essentially helps you get into Colossal Fighter in the extra deck. Probably one of the greatest synchro monsters for warriors. And now with Link, it's predominant to try and go for him even more. Next, I do run double Goblinberg and double Summoner Monk. This is just so that you can fulfill special summon out your Rose and get your Colossal Fighter early. And other than that, you can, with Summon a Monk or a Goblin Bird combo with your Princess to then search more. With Goblin Bird, it's a nerf attribute, so it helps you go into your Mrs. Radiant more effectively. Summon a Monk is just there so you can get your roses, or namely Rose, out from your deck, so you don't have to hassle with special summoning it from hand and go into synchro plays. So that's it for the monsters. On to the spells. For the new support, we have Amazoness Call. Probably one of the best cards for the deck. This literally, as its effects state, you take an Amazoness card from your deck, except Amazoness Call, and either add it to your hand or send to the graveyard. So it's basically a searcher for the entire deck, and its graveyard effect is you can banish it from your graveyard, target one face-up monster you control. Other monsters you control cannot declare an attack, but the monster you've targeted can attack all your opponent's monsters once each. So this is great, definitely, with, as said, with Amazoness Swordswoman, and deal a load of damage with it. Next, I do run triple Amazoness Village. Best field spell, well, not best field spell, but probably a great field spell for the deck. Helps you float your monsters. It gives your Amazoness 200 attack and defense, and the great effect is, if once per turn, if your Amazoness you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon one Amazoness from your deck whose level is equal or less than to the destroyed monster. So if you have a queen on the field, it gets destroyed by card effect, you can just simply replace it with another queen. Or if you go into your Swordswomen's and you destroy them by battle, you can special summon out more onto the field. I do run one Amazoness Heirloom. This is just so that you can cover yourself for those odd plays. What its effect is that it protects the monster it's equipped to by battle, protects it by battle once per turn. And if it attacks an opponent's monster, if it attacks after damage calculation, you can destroy the attack target. So it's great as a spot remover. Now for generic spells, I do play the one Rota, simple, and I one Warrior Returning Alive, one Raigeki board wipe, and I do play one Twin Twister, though it's probably ideal to try and bump this up to 2. As I mentioned before, Amazoness at the time very vulnerable to spells and traps, and even now with the new support, there isn't much to sort of protect them during battle phases, so Twin Twister is ideal. Now, a personal favourite tech, back when Clash of Rebellion Panissimo was announced, this card protects your monster from battle by card effects, and it makes the monster you've targeted 100, as its original attack 100. So as you can probably guess, if you were to have an Amazoness Swordswoman with 100 attack, can't be destroyed by battle by card effects, it is golden to just deal as much damage as possible. So now that Zodiacs are running it, I'm sitting here with Amazoness Swordswoman, hoping that she will see the day with Panissimo. Now with the new traps, I run 2 Onslaught. You can bump this up to 3. It's quite very powerful, to be fair. Once per turn during the battle phase, you can special summon one Amazoness from your hand. If you do, it gains 500 attack until end of turn. After damage calculation, if your Amazoness battled an opponent's monster, while this card is already face up on your side of field or spell trap zone, you can banish that opponent's monster. If this card is on the field destroyed and sent to your graveyard, you can target one Amazoness monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So 3 effects in 1. Special summon from hand during the battle phase. If opponent you control, if you battle an opponent's monster, you can banish it, and if it gets destroyed, you special summon one from grave. So it's very nice. So yeah, consider either having at least 2, but I mean bumping it to 3 is no problem as well. And finally, for the last traps, these are sort of personal favourite techs of mine back in the day. Amazon Queen's Pawn. It's an Amazoness card. If your Amazoness monster you control destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon one level 4 or lower Amazoness from your deck. It's an old support card, one I do love to keep in. And the other tech, Battle Guard Howling, you're a warrior deck, so its effect, when you're a warrior type monster you control is targeted for an attack or opponent's card effect, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of the face-up monster you targeted with this card, and if you do, you then return it to your hand. So it can negate attack, deal them damage, and bounce back to hand. So that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, seeing as we don't have, at this moment of time, we don't have Empress, I had decided to, I had a point in where you can include her in, but I've modified the extra deck a bit. So starting off, as I mentioned, you run double Colossal Fighter, or you can even have this as any level 8 Synchro. The extra deck for Amazonas is very generic. You can be flexible, you can be creative with it. Colossal Fighter is just a personal attack or personal choice as it stands. Its effect gains, it gives itself 100 attack for each warrior in your graveyard, and if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one warrior type monster from either player's graveyard. Now, it's great in Link because if it's destroyed by battle, you can revive itself back to the main monster zone. You can also choose to go with Omega, but you know, Colossal Fighter being in a warrior class deck is very good to not have. As I mentioned before, I do run Mrs. Radiant. There is a combo to go with into Mrs. Radiant with Amazon Spy, but we sadly don't have it out. But nonetheless, Mrs. Radiant is still there to help you out and give you the boost. As for the XYZs, this is pretty much generic rank 4s, or you can have rank 3s as well. So you can be very creative and flexible to what you want to go into. So ones I've personally designated for warriors, I do run Blade Armor Ninja and Heroic Champion Excalibur. This is for the double attack, or you can beat over beat sticks in case that Amazonas can't have. Amazons don't really have big beat sticks, so Excalibur is there for that sort of protection or safety net to go over. Blade Armor Ninja can help OTKs, as well as, well, Gargoyle Samurai. You might as well, it's not advised to go with both, but Samurai is there for the Earth attribute help, as Winds is not really ideal in for links. Other generic rank 4s, you can just your staples. I do run Emerald, Dark Rebellion, Cowboy, Castell, and Tornado Dragon. There's also the Zodiac Broadborn Trident, and you can go with the Utopia package as well. That's also something I do run. And other, you know, this is just the standard for rank 3s at the moment. We don't have Spy, but Phantom Knights of Breaksword or other generic rank 3s is optional and advised. Like this video if you like Amazonas. I will probably bring you sort of more updated once we get the Empress and Liger in the deck profile. And don't forget to check out our Facebook page. Link will be in the description below. And as always, guys, happy dueling!
If you like that video, why not check out our other videos available? We've got more deck profiles, pack openings, and of course duels. And don't forget to click on the most important button of all, that subscribe button, right in the bottom left hand corner.